All right, so I'm here at the park with my kids, and I'm gonna try to do a quick review on the use and shots for the new Zen 2 compared to a stock Neo Essence, and we're gonna see how they fly, if there's any good differences, and talk about some of the different uses for a disc like this. So, see how it goes. Okay. Just got done doing some stuff with the family, but have time to talk about how these went earlier. So I did a few shots that I would normally use this disc for in a tournament or any kind of league play. And one of the first ones is just your typical 230 to 300 foot straight tunnel. And so when I threw the Neo Essence, just slight hyzer, it flips up and then kind of wants to drift out into its turn and then fade back in. Now this is where I did notice that the new Zen 2 is a bit more overstable, because I threw practically almost the same shot but then had actually a harder fade at the end. Even on the way back about 300 feet, you see that it just holds and carries such a straight line for such a long time and then fades out at the end. With the stock Essence, it's not likely that it's going to fade out of the area, the landing area you want it to go to, but I'm already finding in some of these first shots that the Zen needs a bit less hyzer, and you need to plan for a bit harder of a fade, but not much. And then I wanted to look at this a little tighter wooded shot, again about 300 feet to the end of that tunnel, and you can see same thing, the stock Essence flipped up flat and then drifted right the whole way on its turn, all the way into that tree. But the Zen 2, you can see that, and even without hitting the branch, that it flipped up a little, and it was not going to hold out into that turn for very long before it was going to fade back in. And so yet again, around 300, you can already see that this new Meta Essence is going to be a bit more stable. And then even on the way back, I wanted to show just the reliable, straight, effortless 300 foot throw. But whether you're just starting, slower arm speed, 400 foot throw, 320, this seems to be effortless distance with its 6 glide. And then I took it out to the field so I could kind of give it about a 70 foot or 70% throw. The end of that fence line is about 370, and you see, same idea. It just goes, flips up, it holds out in its turn as long as it's high enough, holds out in its turn, and then just fades back softly and then right into that 360, 380 area. But then when we went with the Meta Essence, that's again where you see a similar line, similar angle, and it does not want to hold its turn. So it is a bit more stable and then even finishes with a bit more fade. And that's not a negative, it just means that they're two different slots of a similar disc. And so on the way back, I wanted to do more of a sweeping hyzer. I'm not the biggest fan of this kind of line, because if you throw this disc, an Essence, or even this Meta Essence on hyzer, but too low, it'll flip up out of it and just carry straight. But it has the hyzer and holds the hyzer line. It just sticks it there and then fades wide out at the end with a sweeping hyzer. And then I wanted to see, there's one other throw that I primarily use the Essence on, and that's usually on an uphill. So I'm already throwing with the angle of the hill on hyzer, and then it flips up flat with the grade of the hill and with a little bit of turn, and then just finishes down on the incline. Even a 350 foot arm can do the same thing with this, probably effortless, probably get the most distance out of this than almost any other fairway. And then the Zen, same idea. You see the Zen 2 flip up, but it doesn't turn out, and then it just fades out a little bit harder. So it actually could handle a little bit more. And I bet when the Meta plastic is beat in a bit more, it probably glides significantly more, because both of these are their first times being thrown. So then I wanted to look at the turnover, and both of them finished pretty flat. You won't be able to see it on screen, but they both, at their angle and their turn, the turn of the disc just pulled it out flat and I didn't need to give it much more angle. And so And then the final shot was actually something I was really excited to do because I see this line every time I drive past it on my way to work. So I finally got to use a video. And so this is a 280-foot shot. And I thought this was the shot that would just show the strength of the Essence. And the Zen 2, a little lower, and it would have just carried flat, but again, had a little bit of a harder fade at the end, which is not a bad thing. Okay, so my overall thoughts are that if I was going to bag both, I would bag the stock Essence in order to keep it within more of the most narrow windows that I need, especially if I have a smaller landing zone at the end of it. Now, if I don't have a smaller landing area near the end of the flight, then I'd want to give it this because there's a lot more margin for error. If I could bag both, I would, and that's the problem with these Discmania releases, is that everything they release I want to bag, but I can't bag them all. I don't think you could lose going either way. I think that if you're looking for one with a bit more effortless turn, the stock Essence is the way to go. If you want one with a bit more stability, so there's a larger room for error, this is the way to go. If it's all about just sporting Nate Perkins, that's worth it. It looks good, great disc. My buddy at the Armory Disc Golf sent these to me so that I could do stuff like this. And so if you would like to see some of these and get an extra 10% off, you can go to the Armory Disc Golf and use the code Armory10Taylor, and it helps me out so I can have more discs to do comparisons with and get you an extra 10% off on some really good discs. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys, and see you next time.